But I think there's going to be a race where they just shit their pants. I think we're going to have a double DNF at some point in the season. Hey everybody, and welcome back to The Grid. This is our first episode back that's not a race recap, and so us ladies decided that we would do our 2023 Grid Gals season predictions. We do realize it's a little late, but hey, better late than never, am I right, ladies?
I like having one race in, too. It gives us a little bit of an advantage, for sure, but it definitely changed my grid.
Absolutely. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because there are certainly people that I wouldn't have placed not watching that first race in the order that I did. So I'm kind of glad I got a little bit of a sneak peek at the car performance, how some of the drivers were doing right off the bat, but tried not to weight that too heavily on. We know it's a long season. We know a lot can happen.
It did really impact my prediction for McLaren. Really took a tumble.
Here's the thing. I can't tell if it is helping us make more informed choices or if there's just a bunch of red herrings thrown in there.
So true.
You know?
I think that's a fair, we'll get into each of our own predictions, but I think if you did place McLaren lower, I don't think that's just taking that first race weighted too heavily. We got to consider last season, too. And the performance was not stellar.
Yeah. Fair.
How do you guys want to run this?
I think we should do a fun little, we can't give it all away, right? Like maybe start with a couple of our bottom ones, get some initial reactions from the gals, and then maybe just hop around, see where the mood takes us.
Okay.
Jackie, bottom 5.
We're doing drivers or constructors first?
Oh, drivers.
Drivers? Okay, so, it's hard to really place rookies because we had one race to go off of. And obviously, that's not a lot to really evaluate how we think that they're going to do. So a couple of the rookies are in my bottom 5, specifically Logan Sargent, although I put him towards the top of my bottom 5 because the Williams is looking really good this year.
Okay. So wait, sorry, just to clarify, is that, would you say 16th out of 20, or are you putting him 15th out of 20? Just want to clarify.
I'm putting him
16th
16th out of 20.
Okay.
And then I have Nico Hulkenberg as 17th. This one is going to, I think, shock the gals here. I have Yuki Tsunoda at 18th.
That doesn't actually shock me.
I really don't think it's going to be a good year for AlphaTauri.
I agree.
I don't think that Yuki's going to show strong leadership, especially since Nick DeVries is, new to the grid. He could come out and shock us. He's actually my 20th driver.
I was going to ask. I was like, I want to know where you put DeVries in relation to Tsunoda.
Not because I don't think that DeVries could have a good career in F1. I just think that they struggled a little bit with the car last year, especially seeing Pierre in the Alpine this year and having such a strong performance right off the bat. It really does go to show, maybe the car's just not that good, and especially Nick's first season not really having, and this is all speculation, right? I'm just going off of Drive to Survive and post-race interviews. I don't know if Yuki's going to be the best mentor to him. So I can see them really struggling.
I don't know that Yuki is going to be a mentor to him. I know, seeing that man in Drive to Survive, he looks serious. Serious business.
Mm-hmm.
He came in, no jokes, barely a smile. Very different energy.
Side note about Yuki, I forgot to mention. Have you seen who his new trainer is?
You're looking at me like we should know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So when Daniel Ricciardo
lost I did see. Okay.
His grid position.
Oh, Yuki took DR's old trainer?
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay, so that could bode well for him. Well,
All right.
Just thought it was a fun fact,
I like Yuki. I mean, if
I have
he
Yuki
proves me
down
wrong,
there.
If he proves me wrong, it'd be great. I don't think it will necessarily be on him. I think they're just going to have a lot of car issues this year again.
Okay.
And then I have, Yuki at 18th, Zhou Guanyu at 19th. And again, I think Zhou is a good driver. Alfa Romeo had a lot of issues last season. And this first race, it didn't feel like they had their car wasn't very competitive. So, and again, it's really just going off of more of the car than the driver itself.
Well, the other thing to consider and remember about Alfa Romeo that I kind of forgot about, they have a new team principal because their old team principal got promoted to Ferrari. So, I feel like to have that big leadership change in the team also probably has an impact.
Yeah, so nothing too spicy. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to put Piastri at 20, but I took a little page out of a different playbook this year and ranked drivers and made sure my drivers and my constructors, were more symbiotic.
Sure.
So just like where I had McLaren on my constructors, I obviously had to place him a little higher. And again, leaving personal feelings about the driver aside, I just don't think McLaren's looking really strong. I think McLaren as a team is going to have a lot of conflict between Lando and Oscar. I think Lando has even spoken in some of his interviews about how he doesn't have a lot of faith in the car this year. And so, no disrespect for him.
Very mature of you.
I think he's 15, but, he's a little higher up there.
I feel like my bottom 5 are pretty similar to yours. So I'll run through mine next. And I'm aware I'm starting at 17. 17.
Okay. Bottom 4 then.
I have
Math.
Magnussen.
Okay.
It's still Haas.
It's still Haas, yeah.
I think I did put him above Hülkenberg because I put Hülkenberg at 19.
Hell yeah.
But the reason why I started at 17 is because I put Daniel Ricciardo at 18.
I was wondering, you gave such a little smirk when you said that.
Oh, fucking hell.
I think Red Bull's going to get him out there. I think he's going to be on one circuit at least.
Do you think that so you think he's going to show up truly as a reserve driver? You don't think they're going to, jeopardize their place in the constructors by swapping out? Well, no, it wouldn't jeopardize constructors. Yeah. It would just be purely drivers that it would
still be drivers. I think they'll give him the chance even if someone's kneecaps accidentally get broken.
Little Tanya Harding in that garage.
Yeah.
Not to spoil my race predictions, but I agree that Danny's going to come for at least one race.
I think so. I feel like I know where you're going with that, but I'm gonna move on. So after 19 with Nico, I put Yuki at 20.
Wow.
I don't know that we've seen him be a super strong driver, and this is his third year. So I feel like the whole rookie thing is no longer an excuse.
He's just not consistent. He'll have races where last weekend I think he was just barely missed the points, and then he'll have races where he DNFs. And some of it's car related, some of it is related to just his driving style. And so the consistency really kills him.
I just think his driving style and his personality doesn't fit for a Formula 1 driver, because I think he gets so worked up that he loses focus and isn't hitting all the points that he should be.
Wait, hang on, run it back. You started with 17. Who's 16th?
Piastri.
Okay. Why'd you start with 17 then?
Because she's 21.
Because I have 21.
Oh. Okay. I was like, something's not clicking for me. Guys, again.
The math.
The math ain't mathin'.
Well, hot take. This is also outside of my bottom 5, but I put Tsunoda at 14th.
Did you really?
Again, I agree. He's not super consistent, but when he does perform, he's quick. I don't think he's quick enough to be top 10. Again, I don't think he's going to blow anybody out of the water, but I had him at 14th, and then now jumping down to my bottom 5. I have Piastri at 16th, again, mostly based on kind of where I put McLaren in the constructors. I have De Vries at 17th. I know he's taking this very seriously, but again, to your point, I think AlphaTauri, I don't think the car is going to be able to deliver, and I think being a rookie, especially being a rookie in a very mid car, I think he's going to struggle, and I think he might get really frustrated. I don't know. I'm intrigued to see.
Yeah, but he's quite a bit older.
I think he's 28.
Yeah. So I think
he's our age.
Yeah. He's still, got plenty of good years ahead of him.
I feel like it also might be there's extra pressure on him in that sense of you look at the physicality of this career, and if you don't have really solid performances at a certain point, I feel like he's under a lot of pressure to perform really well quickly because of his age. I feel like he's going to crack a little. Hot take.
Okay.
18th, Magnussen. Again, Haas boys. Sorry, nothing personal. 19th, I have Zhou. And 20th, I have Hülkenberg.
Really?
Interesting.
It's been out for a couple years, and I don't know. He doesn't impress me.
I mean, I have 19.
Hulkenberg.
Where did you put Sargent?
I put Sargent at 15th.
Okay, because I know you're struggling with the math, but my 2021 was Sargent.
Okay.
Well, you didn't let me say it. I think
You're right.
got
I
confused.
I cut you off because you said 20th, and I thought you were done.
Yep.
I thought you just were doing some fun little thing over there.
So you guys are predicting that Haas isn't going to have, a similar trajectory to last season? Because they finished 8th in the Constructors last season.
I have Haas doing worse.
I have him staying in Constructors. I still have him 8th, which probably doesn't make sense with where I put both the drivers. But
I did, yeah. See, I did my drivers first, and then I
Yeah.
kind of just made my Constructors work. Well, that's not entirely true for the top teams, but at the back of the grid, that's kind of how I did it. The top, though, was like,
top was easy and a little bit biased, obviously.
I mean, yeah, same, but it was kind of fun. And there's one driver in my top 3 that I'm really, really unsure of. Mm-hmm. And I think you guys know who it is.
Did you put Alonso in your top
Alonso
3?
in top 3?
No, actually, he's number 4. I put Perez as 3.
I did put Checo up
And
there as
I-
3.
I think because of some of the stuff we've talked about of like, I don't know if Perez is going to last through the whole season. I mean, I think if he does not make top 3, he will not make it to next season at Red Bull.
I think Perez will make it through the entirety of the season. I think he'll actually have a good season again, just because if the car keeps up at the pace that it has been, it's just outperforming the other cars so much that I just don't see how he couldn't have that good of a season.
The only reason I'm iffy on him, like, again, it's not that I don't believe in the Red Bull car or him as a driver. I feel like it would be kind of those external team, if there was some sort of mid-season switch up. Okay, Danny subbing in for a race, maybe even 2, depending on if one or both of them get sick or something. Fine. And then I feel like we should do top 3 now.
Yeah.
Number 2, I have Verstappen. And drivers champion, I have Leclerc.
Of course.
I mean, come on.
I mean,
I
can I
have to
actually
root
say that?
for something. I guess, spoiler alert, just so you know where my other Ferrari is. I put Sainz at 5.
Really?
So I guess
'cause
top
you
5, because I put Alonso 4th and Sainz 5th.
Okay. I mean, I feel like ours are pretty similar. I agree with you on Checo. I think, so I put him at 3rd as well, but I also think he could be lower based on the pressure that he's put under, like you were saying, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's on a 1-year contract, right? Like, I think they always keep him on a 1-year contract, just like they kept Bottas on a 1-year contract at Mercedes.
Yeah, I think, like, obviously Max is on a different type of
Multi-year,
contract.
for sure.
Yeah, but I think Checo, they've been giving him 1 year at a time, which I think that's pretty common at Red Bull.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know it's like pretty common in teams where you are pretty much the second driver. Mm-hmm. But I've been reading.
God, I can't believe they did that to Bottas for that long.
Yeah, because
Mercedes,
I listened to Beyond the Grid, and those drivers are always like, it's such like a mind game, because you think like you mess up once and then your contract's on the line, and then it's so difficult to come back from that. So I could see that really getting to Checo. And his Drive to Survive season, you can tell the pressure he's under, especially in a certain race.
Yeah, just bring it up again.
But then, should I go up or down? I guess I'm at Checo, so I'm at 3rd.
Start from 5th and then go up.
Okay. So I have Russell at 5.
Ooh.
Merely because I put him above Hamilton at 6.
Do you think it's because of his little intro dance where he's in the hallway?
Oh,
Do you think that
they
that's...
really did him dirty with
They
that.
did him dirty,
That was
and
so
nothing makes me happier.
Yeah, I mean, even like F1, like the Instagram was like, you know what to do, internet, and then like put that his little
Jesus
pose
Christ.
out there.
The memes.
Oh.
I've been dying.
Yeah. I think Hamilton might be a little bit on a decline. I don't think he's like lost it, but I think even seeing him last year, Russell can kind of stack up to him in equal machinery.
I mean, I feel like the pressure does not mess with Russell because that man's ego.
Yes.
Like-
It's 1,000. And I think Hamilton used to be there, right? Like, I think Hamilton's ego used to be, like, enormous. I think just the past couple years have really beaten him down. So I personally would actually like to see Hamilton place a little bit higher than that, but I do actually think Russell might outperform him. Because didn't he outperform him this
Last
past
season?
He
Yeah.
did, yeah. He absolutely did.
Okay, so Russell at 5. I have Sainz at 4. This is another one I'm a little iffy about. I don't know that he's got it.
You don't know that Sainz has it, or you don't know that Ferrari has it? Question mark.
Both? I mean, like, we know Ferrari last year. But a lot of that was strategy, so I'm thinking it'll come together. Again, like, Sainz stacked against Leclerc. I think Leclerc just, like, kills
You're
it.
such a Sainz hater. You're such a Sainz hater.
really
Someone's
are.
got to be on the other side, ladies. We can't...
I don't know.
I think
Oh,
he
wait,
cracks under the pressure. I mean, what was that one race where he literally jumped out of the way of Hamilton or something, or Verstappen? Like, literally just drove off the track because he got, like, panicked.
Was that last year or the year before?
I think that was last year.
To be fact checked.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that.
But, like, I feel like I've seen that a couple times where, like, pressure's on and he doesn't deliver. It's the same way I feel about Checo. Like, pressure's on and I don't see an equal machinery, you stacking up to your teammate.
I don't think he'll outperform Leclerc. I just don't think that all of Ferrari's issues last year were purely strategy calls. They also had car issues.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know if Ferrari's going to do that well this year.
Yeah, I think looking at the cars and listening to the teams talk about the cars, and I know there's a lot of, like, people try to, like, place doubt, but I think Ferrari still might do better than Mercedes. Because then I have Checo at 3, Leclerc at 2, and then obviously F Max at 1.
Yeah, boy.
Hey. Well, ladies, I predicted pretty fairly how you guys would rank your top 5 drivers, and I decided to go a different route, but I don't think that it's...
Do you have Norris again at number 1? Just
Oh.
knowing how that Leclerc did.
I think this is objectively, taking into consideration a lot more of the facts than last year and not just making it fun. I think that if Lewis is going to win a championship again, it's going to be this year.
Okay.
So I think I put him at 1 because I think that if he's going to do it, it's going to be this year. So I'm putting my cards in that basket.
I
Oh my
think
god,
she's
Jack's a Mercedes fan!
She's officially a Mercedes fan.
If he doesn't do it this year, he's never going to do it. And I think that, I won't be surprised if he doesn't win a championship, but at the same time, I think that there could be a considerable comeback this year for Mercedes.
Catherine, follow-up question to this hot take from Jacqueline. Over under on how long it takes her to buy Mercedes merch.
It's already bought, ladies.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Their hats are great.
Did you really already buy a
Moving
hat?
on. No, but like,
I
twist
mean,
my arm.
Over under.
over under.
How many weeks till Jack caves and buys Mercedes merch?
When's the next time we go to the F1 bar?
Potentially Sunday.
Oh, that's too soon for
Too
anything to
soon,
get
yeah.
in. I'll give you a month.
Over or under 1 month?
Under 1 month.
Okay. I'll take the over.
So I got Lewis at 1. I have Max at 2. Obviously, I still think that if he's not winning 1, he's probably in second place. I have George Russell at 3, just purely because I think that George Russell does stack up to.
Mercedes fan.
I had to do something different. I couldn't go with either of your 2 teams,
I respect.
and it just wasn't realistic to put Alpine, McLaren, and I don't feel like Aston Martin, some people are predicting, could make it into the top 3 this year. I think that's a little steep of a prediction. So George Russell at 3, Perez at 4, and then I have Alonso at 5. So my Ferraris are 6 and 7. I just don't think that... I think there's been too much change in Ferrari as of recent. I think that they're going to have issues both from a strategy call and a car call.
No
again
faith
this
in
year.
Fred. None.
And, I put a lot of faith in Ferrari last year, and I think that they had a considerably good season. I think they could have done a lot better. And yeah, so I think I'm going more in the Mercedes camp this year.
I'm changing my tune. I love this. This is gonna be the first season that you guys aren't teaming up on me on every single race.
Yeah, but the thing is, she may be like, oh, I don't believe in Ferrari. She still fucking loves signs. Prove me wrong.
I mean, like, I love Yuki, and he's down at the bottom. Like, whatever.
That's
Man,
okay.
it's good to look at. I just, I don't know.
Do you think you'd still be a Signs fan if he got a buzz cut?
Yeah, I'd still be a fan, but I'd question his choices.
Just checking.
Have you seen the photos of him bald?
No.
There's
I don't
Someone
wanna
like
see.
edit them.
I don't want to see.
they did it for like all the drivers. It's so bad.
Tragique.
Yeah.
Oh god. Man, oh man. It's gonna be a fun season. It could go a lot of different ways. I don't think we're gonna have too big of shakeups from last season. But
Okay, Catherine, where did you put your two Mercedes again? I gotta know.
5 and 6.
Okay, see, I had him at 6 and 7. I have Hammy above Russell, but yeah, not like we're not crazy off in that regard.
No. I mean, I have Alonso at 7.
Okay, yeah, I have him above that. I have Stroll at 8.
I have Stroll 9.
I Stroll at 10 just because I put both Alpine drivers at 8 and 9.
I realize my Alpines are the only ones. I always do this. I split
separate
up
'em?
teammates.
Yeah.
But I have my Alpines are together at 9 and 10.
I did considerably split up Alonso and Stroll.
But I feel like that's because you kind of...
That's also fair though, because I feel like there's a bigger skill gap between them compared to some other teammates.
Agreed.
Also, I don't know why I just said those are the only two teammates I put together when I literally just told you 10 seconds before that I put my Mercedes at 6 and 7. Okay, anyway.
You're in a certain mindset today.
Toward the bottom of
It's been a long day.
the bottom 10, I spaced things out a little bit more, just with some of the more experienced drivers compared to some of the rookies.
Yeah, agreed.
Where did you end up putting your McLarens?
I have Lando at 11, and the car's going to get to his head. I'm not saying this because I don't think that Lando's a good driver. I think if we could get him in a good car, we would see way different results. But I think they spent a lot of their money paying out Danny Rick,
Yeah.
focusing on getting Oscar, not a lot of extra time at R&D. They could prove me wrong, but I stood by McLaren last year. They had a lot of difficulties with the car. Danny Rick drama aside, seeing that first race didn't give me high hopes for the season.
Jack's ready to win.
Ready to freaking win. I'm tired of sitting over here.
Sad girl season.
Explain
It's
myself.
over. It's over.
Which race was your favorite? Which race is your least favorite? Well, take your pick. All of them. Literally all of them as a McLaren fan.
Let's talk about once bitten, twice shy. She's done.
Yeah,
I'm done.
that's
I'm
for
done.
sure.
I just, honestly, after watching Otmar go from Aston Martin to Alpine, I've really gotten good vibes from...
Also, can we talk about Otmar for a second? I love that man.
Oh, yeah.
I do too. I think he's a genius. I think he's done great things at Alpine.
I don't know about genius, but like incredible vibes. Immaculate.
Yeah.
Like, genius is strong. But I mean, like, I think what he's done at Alpine to turn some things around has been great. I think they had great momentum last season. And
You want to know a fun fact about him?
yes, I do.
He's our hometown hero.
He's from Metro Detroit?
Hell yeah.
Heck
That's
yeah.
a Michigan boy right there.
I
Motor City, baby, let's go.
Yeah.
I knew that's why I liked him.
We're going to fact check that, but I'm 98% sure. I think he went to Wayne State, actually. I'm like 98% sure he got his MBA from Wayne State. I looked him up once because I was like, Otmar Safnauer, and yet, listen to that man speak. You tell me that's not a Midwestern boy.
He's definitely American. I knew that, but I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm
where
like
from.
98% sure he's from Detroit area.
Yeah, I think he's a new Drive to Survive fave for me.
Also,
I liked him.
can we talk about, speaking of team principles and Drive to Survive, Gunther Steiner, just like constantly. I feel like everybody's always kind of loved him and he's always been a star, but I feel like this season they really leaned into that.
Oh, for sure.
They're basically like, what does Haas have if not you?
Literally
And
carries that
simply
team.
the brand.
Yep. See, they got some spunk in them. I don't think they're going to be bottom of the 10.
Should we do constructors? Because I feel like now that we've gone through, well, at least most of our drivers, it is kind of interesting to see how it translates.
Yeah, my constructors is really wonky compared to my drivers now looking at it. So we'll see how this goes.
I do have Red Bull winning the constructors again. Again, math. I have Ferrari coming in second for the constructors, followed by Mercedes, Aston Martin in fourth, Alpine in fifth.
Yep.
I have Williams in sixth. So for me, that's
Okay.
the biggest difference compared to last year.
Yeah.
Because I have them at 13th and 15th.
Yeah. I was following you all through that until you hit Williams.
I have McLaren 7th. Like, wow, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah.
Yeah, McLaren at 7th too.
My little alphas right there together, Tari and Romeo, and then Haas. Which, not very original to throw Haas at the bottom, but that's kind of just how the math worked out.
Okay, so mine's really similar to yours, so I'm gonna follow up because we were the same all the way to 6, and I had Alfa Romeo,
Okay.
and then I had McLaren as well at 7. I have Haas at 8, Williams at 9, and that left AlphaTauri at 10.
I have AlphaTauri last too.
I was originally like a little apprehensive doing it, but I think the combination of Yuki and a rookie and the car in general, I think that Williams and Haas can get more points than them this year.
Fair. I believe that.
Little sandwich, Red Bull sandwich.
Yeah, it truly is.
Oh my god, yeah. I had very similar, just a little bit change. So I have to have Mercedes as first because I have Lewis and George first and third.
Okay.
Which brings me Red Bull to second. I wanted to put Red Bull first, but the points obviously don't make it that way. Then Ferrari at third, Aston Martin fourth, Alpine fifth. This is where I change up from you guys. 6 for McLaren. I still think that Lando is going to have some performances where he's going to make that machinery work, and we're still going to see him get some points. I also think that of the rookies, Oscar's going to pull some things out of his bucket there too. I have Williams at 7th. They had a really great start, and that's primarily just based off of what I've seen from them this year. Has no basis in how they performed last year. Haas at 8, and then I have Romeo and then Tari.
Okay.
All right. I have some also fun, just like extra little predictions, things I think will happen throughout the season. And I think one that is going to be at least fun for me, I think we're going to see Red Bull double DNF.
Oh, you do.
I mean, come on. Hey, I have them at first and third. I have them winning the Constructors, but I think there's going to be a race where they just shit their pants. I think we're going to have a double DNF at some point in the season.
I mean, we had it last season, so I don't think it's like that.
It's not crazy, but here's the fun one. This one I like really had a lot of fun with. I think we are going to see McLaren cost cap breach rumors.
Oh.
That would make sense, just
Yeah,
based on all
that
the
would.
money they've been bleeding.
They've been bleeding money. The car's a piece of shit, so I think they're going to try to get a little creative to fix it up. And Christian Horner has Zach in his crosshairs. And I think Christian's going to have them under a microscope looking for any excuse to repay the favor that Zach did last year of like... Because I feel like Zach kind of led the charge.
He definitely made some like pretty pointed accusations.
Yeah, so I feel like Red Bull is going to be scrutinizing them, especially if, again, they really struggle and they're having to put a lot of money into this car later in the season. I think we're going to see the tables turn on the cost cap.
I hear you on that. But I will say...
I just think it's a fun one.
I think Zach Brown comes from a restructuring background, right?
You fucking nerd, what?
You would know that.
Wasn't he part of the restructuring at McLaren? Like, I don't know if he was... I'm going to have to do some fact finding on this, but as an accountant...
I don't even know how to respond to that because I just genuinely have no idea about his professional background. Beyond, like, racing, I don't know if he... I mean, that would be really funny. Let's do a little research and circle back.
Sure. So, yeah, let's table this for now and circle back.
But I agree with you, Mary. Like, I feel like Horner's the type of guy who marks down all those who betrayed him, and he's going to be looking for any excuse to point the finger right back. Not an unjustified finger pointing, right? It's going to be very fact-driven.
Well, because I think he's going to, like, try to make it a point of, you came at us, and, like, I am going to repay the favor tenfold. Mm-hmm. He just seems like that type of guy. I also think this is my cute one because I haven't really been sentimental yet now that Seb's gone. I think we're going to see a podium with Bottas and Hamilton. And I think it's going to be a cute little moment of the former teammates having their little podium together. Little flashback
I
Friday.
can see that. That would be cute.
Sunday. It's
Yeah.
always a Sunday. But
It would be really cute.
I do have Bottas pretty high on my drivers, actually. I think just out of pure love for Bottas still, because I have him at 10.
I have him at 11.
Like, I just still think he's really talented. I think he's a lot happier. And so I think, honestly, like, a happier driver is a better driver, too. So I could see him on podium with Hammy.
A good gal fave.
Here's a classic that we did last season. How many different teams do you think we're going to see on the podium?
I think the top 5 teams that I have my constructors, so Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, Aston Martin, and Alpine will all either be on the podium and or I think all of them could win a race this year.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go with 6 on podium.
That's exactly what I had.
Probably McLaren will sneak in there. I bet Lando will get a podium.
I definitely agree with the 5 teams you listed off will be on podium at some point.
JK, I'm going to say 7th, and I'm going to come out of left field and say I think Haas is going to get a podium. I think it's going to be something wild, kind of like how they got their first pole in Brazil. You know, that was obviously like a very weird situation. I could see a similar weird situation working out for them and then them getting their first podium.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure who the 6th team would be, but I like just leaving it open. I like leaving the door
I'm not
open
gonna
for
name them. I think that Sargent is going to score points in Vegas.
Oh, that's a very exact one. Okay.
Well, I also I don't think it's that crazy, but I just it's the first time that Vegas is on the calendar. He's an American rookie. Mm-hmm. That's my other I just think it's kind of fun, and I think it's very reasonable, right? Do I think he's going to get on podium? No, but I think he's going to score points in Vegas, and then I think he's going to have the night of his life.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say, drivers get more energized in their home countries, so,
he's got 3 home races.
Oh, yeah. So, a definite possibility.
I think they should let Danny Rick race in the Vegas race.
Oh,
I wonder if they will.
Because that's one of the races that he's said in the past before they had Las Vegas on the schedule as a race, his dream race. I don't know that they will, especially if they're having a good season, but a growing dream for him.
Well, and especially because it's closer to the end of the season, where, if, Checo, Max, if they're at the top of the drivers, you're not just going to...
That's true, because it is at the very end, so that could be a real possibility. We shall see.
I would love to see Danny race in Vegas. I hope they at least let him do a practice especially if if we have another season like last year where Max is just fucking running away with it. All right, buddy, give Danny your car for FP1.
Yeah, and I mean they have to do the young driver program, right? And that's obviously in quotation marks there, because is it actually young drivers?
If it's the oldest driver in the Red Bull family. Oh, speaking of Red Bull family, you know what I did see in Drive to Survive that I thought was interesting?
What'd you see, Mare?
Guess who Piastri's manager is?
Oh, he's from Red... I know who you're talking
Mark Webber.
About. Yeah.
Yeah, who was teammates with Seb back in the day at Red Bull.
Is he joining NASCAR? Is that what I just read?
Mark Webber?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't see that.
Oh, no. Who's the other one? The blonde one.
Grosjean?
Red Bull driver.
Oh, Red Bull driver? Seb? Question mark?
No, I wish. We'll circle back.
What fun predictions do you guys have?
On the line of Piastri, I think that he's going to be really aggressive with Lando this season. I think Lando's going to outperform him, and it's going to drive him crazy. And with what already seems like sort of an ego. And granted, I think Netflix has kind of painted him as the new villain.
Yeah.
So grain of salt. But I could see him kind of being aggressive towards Lando, especially because Lando seems kind of a softer spoken, nice guy from what you can see from, the outside. And I think Piastri's going to just...
Are you thinking bumper cars aggressive?
Oh, yeah.
On the
I think
track?
On the track, they're going to have issues. I think in the garage, they're going to have issues. I don't see that going super well because I don't think Piastri's going to take a second seat to Lando, and I don't see Lando being also aggressive enough to put his foot down too.
I think that's a very fair prediction. I think he will at first take the second driver position until a race where he outperforms Lando, and then he will no longer feel that he is justified to be kept a second.
Yeah, one qualifying, and then he's...
One instance where he outperforms Lando, and it's going to be a nightmare to manage him.
Yeah.
Hot take. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think we're going to see a similar dynamic to what we saw with Russell and Hamilton, where Russell's new to the team. He wasn't a rookie, but I think only because Piastri's a rookie, I think he'll be kind of a twat, but I think he'll fall in line this year.
Okay.
I think he'll start to act up maybe at the end of the year, or especially next year. I think we'll see some fireworks. I mean, granted, I could still see a little bumping on the track, a little yelling in the garage, but I think he will know his place as only because he's a rookie.
See, I really just think he's overhyped and his ego is inflated. listening to them, listening to people in Drive to Survive talk about him, like all of his wins in his past championships, I think
Is he
he's
the
going
one
to come
that
in.
only spent a year in each? Like he did a year in F4, a year in F3, a year in F2? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's right.
And winning each. So he did like the Euro Championship 1, he did F2 1. Or sorry, F3 1 and F2 1.
Yeah, especially because Lewis, for instance, is very decorated one of the best F1 drivers of all time.
Yeah.
Like,
True.
You're not,
You can't come in.
Lando doesn't have a world championship.
He doesn't even have a win.
Yeah.
So it could be easy, I think, for Piastri to get
all
a
right.
couple good performances under his belt and be like, who's this guy?
Yeah. That's one I'm definitely going to be watching.
An asterisk, the only reason I don't think Lando doesn't have a win is because of prior team orders and because of
fair.
the car, not because he couldn't have a win. But
He could have beat Danny in Monza.
I believe that.
yeah. Kind of along that same line, KP, I think that if McLaren has a particularly bad year again, I think they're going to start to think about a change for Zach Brown.
Oh, okay.
Restructuring the restructurer.
I mean, it's been a couple of years, and they haven't gotten the results that they're usually top of the midfield. Mm-hmm. And if after making some of these calls of exiting a contract, spending a lot of money on a new rookie driver, which I know is McLaren's strategy, they always go for younger rookie drivers. If one of the drivers doesn't significantly compete in the top 10, more towards the top 5, and or the car is just an absolute disaster, I could see them looking for a change.
I could see that as well. I can also see, and I know I said this last episode as well, I think Lando is going to look elsewhere after this year.
Agreed.
Even if he has to break a contract, I think he'll be looking.
Well, and I think he's good enough that he can find a team that'll help him absorb that.
And he's young enough to where it's not like he still has a lot of growing to do. And I think placed on the right team in the right car, it'd be a smart move on his part.
You know what I think an interesting move would be? If, let's say, Lewis misses it again this year, decides it's time to go out, explore all of his other passions, and Merckx picks him up.
That would be a
can
really
see
cool
that.
move.
I mean, great program.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's one of those franchises where, like, they also have a lot of good structure.
Here's one Andover for you gals. How many crashes do you think Lance Stroll is going to get into this year?
Ooh.
Okay, hang on. Are we including, like, a minor shunt? Or, like, totaling the car, retiring from the race? And or just red flagging?
I would say a crash to where you have to go get a new piece on your car. Like a tap, fine. But if you have to go get a new front wing,
Oh, so you're including
that
wings in
counts.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, God. That's, like, a lot. If we're including something like a front wing, because I feel like there's a lot of times, like a first lap, you can do little bumper cars, you hit a front wing, you're not necessarily, like, you're not going to red flag a session for that. It's just you dive into the pits, get a new wing.
Because when he hit Alonso last race, did he have to get anything replaced on his car?
No.
I don't think so. So I don't think that counts.
I would say do a number. I did 5.
No, it's an over-under. She said
She didn't
over-under.
give a number. She just said over under.
Oh, yeah, what's your number? Then we pick over-under.
I'm going to say 7.
I'm still saying over.
Under.
Over 7? Okay.
Okay.
If
We're including front wing changes, I feel comfortable with. If we're talking about like truly red flagging, whether it's a practice, a qual, because you got to remember you've got practice, quali, and races.
He doesn't really. I mean, if we were going in from a Latifi perspective, absolutely. But like, to give Lance some credit, he's not typically like damaging the car that often.
How many times have we?
We're counting wings.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think they.
How many times have we said, did he check his mirrors last season?
Lance Stroll, yeah.
But he makes other people crash. That's the thing. He doesn't. It doesn't.
That's true.
It's not. It never affects him.
Yeah, that's true.
He's still a bad driver. I'm not saying he's good. I'm just saying.
Jack might be onto something.
I just don't think like if I'm thinking through and granted I'm thinking
No
more
fair.
of the big crashes.
Guys-
we'll just have to see.
That's such a good point though, because who's our new Latifi?
I think it's gonna be probably Yuki.
I was thinking Yuki as well, but I don't love that for him.
I don't
I don't
either.
love it
hope
for
it's-
him,
I
but
hope
like
it's not.
I can see it. Either that or honestly, maybe I just don't like him. But Hulkenberg,
He had a pretty good showing.
yeah,
I don't
We'll
know.
see.
I don't know. I feel like I'm going to have to watch some more races and find out.
Yeah.
he's been out of the game for a little bit.
Yeah.
Man's rusty, and man also, like, has a chip on his shoulder with something to prove. So I think he might take unwarranted risks.
Is he still the driver with the most races without a win?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
It was Perez for a long time.
Yeah. I guess we'll find out, ladies.
Any other last predictions? Jack's officially on the Mercedes train.
It's all right.
You know, if I wanted to be true to my prior statement of I'd like to see him win another world championship, this is the year. If he doesn't do it this year, I don't think he will.
Fair.
Yeah, I can see that. So if you like what you heard on this episode, you can visit our website, gridgals.com. We have links to all of our socials, and make sure you like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
And that's the checkered flag for this session. We'll see you back on the grid next week.